Good morning, everyone. My name is Mariusz Jarosz. I have been working at Danfoss as a technical support engineer for over 10 years. Currently, in the technical and application department, I support our direct customers mainly in the field of components and solutions for commercial refrigeration. I am pleased to present you selected issues related to supporting tools in industrial refrigeration. What is the content of my part? The first tool is CoolSelector 2. Let me start with some background information on how it started. Then I will show you the basic functions and calculation examples. The second tool is Application Handbook. I show you where to find it. I will tell who this catalog is for and what new applications and products we can find there. Application tool, an interactive PowerPoint slideshow that takes you through all the details of two-stage ammonia plant. Finally, I will say a few words about the CAD drawing library. Where can you download it and what is the structure? CoolSelector 2. In the past, CoolSelector was used preliminary in commercial cooling applications and then also compressor have been added to it. And before industrial refrigeration module being integrated in 2014, we have been using program called DIRCalc. In 2014, this module has been integrated and greatly upgraded, and we have launched CoolSelector 2, which now is used for all Danfoss cooling applications. What are the highlights? CoolSelector 2 includes all IRF products and most of our new ones as well. We can select valves and other components as well as valve stations, ICF. The interesting thing is that you can make complete line calculations, meaning not only performance of one component, one valve for example, but we can simulate the whole line performance including piping, including additional pressure losses. It's very intuitive and easy interface, so a new user can get on track there quickly. It provides the opportunity to make easy selections of components, single components and line components, and see all simulations of maximum and partial loads refrigeration lines and systems. It also gave us opportunity to get advanced reports, including performance diagrams. Software is very graphical. Here we have example of valve selection where you can see the capacity of the function of the opening degree of the valve. This is the curve. Here you can see the maximum capacity that the valve can work with in a fully open degree. Then also what is the performance in partly open degree and where the capacity is too small or rather the valve is too big for the capacity in part load. Before I go to CoolSelector 2, I will show how to download. You can go to danfoss.com, then Service and Support Downloads, Climate Solutions for Cooling, and then select CoolSelector. I have a tip faster way to get it is to type CoolSelector 2 download in Google and you get the same link which is from Danfoss site. It's very easy to find. Let me go to CoolSelector now. Here you can see the plenty of opportunities to start with CoSelector. In first tab, valves and line components, you can select the single components and plenty of opportunities from controls valves, solenoid, check valves, valve stations, safety valves, expansion valves, filters, piping, a lot of things. Then you can also select components in series or lines. You have different lines depend on the system you choose. You have pump and gravity system. What is the most used in industrial refrigeration system? You can calculate all lines. You can calculate hot gas defrost, transcritical CO2 systems. There are plenty of opportunities, and with the line selections, you can design every single line in your refrigeration system. I come back to this later. Then you have the possibility to design commercial application. There is cold room where when you open it, there is quite a lot of questions and suggestions based on engineering experience. There are many questions based on assumption that when you answer, the software will help you to get a selection. You have transcritical high pressure side and heat recovery unit that can be selected. When you look at industrial pressure applications, you can select the evaporator valve station, air pager, or echo damper solution for economizers. You can also select some compressors and condensing units. Electronic controls. Sensors and switches. Gas detectors. When you talk about switches, you have new LLS 4000 switches and level sensors. Before going into specific selections, I'd like to put your attention at top left corner and menu here, which usually people underestimate. However, CoSelector has a lot to offer from the tabs here. A lot of information and tools are available here. For example, you change your units from international to American. You can also select your preferences when you're interested to start in all applications. And you can edit your own preferences. You can select the system you start with, or you can say which refrigerants you want to use. We are from industrial refrigeration, so we should select the proper refrigerants. So I choose the ammonia here. As a default, you can change the starting capacity, temperatures, and so on. And then you can name your preferences. I have done so. I call it IRF settings. So I go and select IRF setting for myself. Then there are some very interesting tools. One, what is the most interesting is product and refrigerants overview. Often there are questions if a certain product is available to some refrigerants. Over here, you have an overview of all products in CoSelector and a table with different colors. If the color is green, then the product is available and approved for this refrigerant. If it's yellow, calculation is performed in CoSelector. Nevertheless, before offering it, please contact Danfoss. If the color is gray, it means there is no product that is approved and the calculation is not performed. Getting started with Cool Selector, you have really a lot of help. Here you have a lot of support materials, such as documentation tab, where you can see training compendium, which is highly recommended. It's 200 pages selected exercises which you go to all functionalities answers. It's very graphical. It's both commercial and industrial refrigeration applications. It's very useful who work with Cool Selector. We have a lot of YouTube videos, including many webinars. Tab Components in series. Designers do not often use only one component. They use many components. They use line that is very useful for industrial refrigeration designers. Let's design something that is very often used in the refrigeration industrial system. Let's design a liquid expansion line where you expand liquid on a high pressure side into the low pressure separator. Let's select this line. And then you have the possibility to select the components between condenser and the liquid separator. On the top, you can see the operations conditions where you can add some capacity, let's say 700 kilowatts, let's say evaporation minus 30 degrees, and we assume condensing temperature, let's say 30 degrees. I will start with stop valves SVA angle. Then I will put a filter, then a solenoid valve. I see EVRT is big enough. Then expansion valve. I will go ICM with an ICAD and again with stop valve. You can see each of the components is sized and the diameter is automatically selected. After the expansion valve, the software automatically selected bigger diameter of the stop valve. We can choose the diameter like it is in inlet of the expansion valve. If it's not red, we can choose 32 millimeters. We are okay now. If there is something wrong, we would get error message instead green OK. We have the total pressure drop in the line of the components presented in bars or kelvins. On the bottom, you can see the performance curve for the whole line we have selected. 700 kilowatts is over here. You can see the maximum capacity with which the selection can work with in the given conditions, and this is 870 kilowatts. We can see this value on the bottom. At the low end, we can see that the minimum capacity to operate is around 52.5 kilowatts for this line. We can also see the performance curve of each of the components separately. But the most sense is look at it as a line, right? You can also see performance details of the system. You can also see the detailed log pH diagram. We can see the expansion between 3 and 4, so this is expansion line. And you can see that values are changing when we change the position of the cursor in the bottom right corner. You can also see the property of the refrigerant for any point of the log pH diagram. So it's very useful to get information about your refrigeration system. Once you are happy with your selection, you can go to the code number selection. Here you have for each of the components all available sales codes. You have also a lot of connections. What you can do is from the top of the screen, you can filter them down and you can say, okay, I'm interested only in DIN connections, European ones. And now you can filter the selection only to the connection which you need. So you have the stop valve, you have the filter, solenoid valve, ICM with the iCat, and stop valve, the last component. It's also possibility to get information for the product. You can click on Documents and Visuals. You can see data sheets for each of the components. You can see catalogs, drawing, installation guides, pictures, and so on. There is a lot of information available here. There is also information about available accessories and spare parts. Once you are done with your code selection, you can go to the bills of materials. You can go to the bills of materials on the top and we have specification of all selected components with the sales codes. Then you can convert it to Excel or PDF. You can also go directly to Danfoss product store. Next to tab function, there is tab templates. You can add your selected line to the tab as a template. This template can be used further when designing another liquid line in pump system. You can also print report. The report includes this line. If you selected many lines in your design in your file, then you can also see them in report. So each of the component is here. The components are also shown and the properties are given. Also the performance curve. So you can have plenty of lines in that report. Then, like in standard window program, you can go to File and you can save your project. And later, when changes are needed, you can edit something, you can open the location, save it, and then load it again. We continue with the next tool for IRF application, and it's Application Handbook. New version of this application handbook was released in 2020. Where do we get it from? Again, Danfoss.com, markets, then refrigeration and air conditioning, then industrial refrigeration, then air application handbook. Or you can go to Fast Track, Google search. Let me show you how it works. Go to browser, then write Danfoss Industrial Refrigeration Handbook. Google will suggest it, and then we can find the link to the Danfoss site. You can download the complete application handbook, or you can go to each of the chapters. All the modules of the book are split and can be downloaded separately. It's generally very useful book, both for new beginners in industry refrigeration, but also for experienced designers. It gives you a lot of options to compare different solutions for one system, with more automation, with less automation, for example, with different way of control. I find it very useful, especially if you use it with datasheets, which you can get from CoolSelector, for example, or from a website. When you can really design your system in a way that you know the benefits of a certain design, knowing the product limitations, and knowing what alternatives are for a certain product. Application Handbook offers a lot of examples of applications, a lot of solutions for the discussion as well. It gives very good overview of relatively new systems as transcritical CO2, COPs, what is new in the market about ejectors. There are also some new applications which we have released now. These are heat exchangers for industrial refrigeration applications. This can relate to semi-welded plates, heat exchangers that have launched a couple of years ago. You have here on the slide couple of examples. Flooded, evaporator in gravity and condenser. There are plenty more in application handbook recommendations. For economizers, the superheaters, for subcoolers. Here we are talking not only about how to design heat exchanger as such, but also what components to install around heat exchanger, in this example here about evaporator, or what circulation rate we recommend using. There is a lot of good information. And there are also more new products as air purgers. How to install our purger, how many points you can connect to our purger, where are the best points for purger's care. You have got also examples of LLS 4000 switches, where in the system you can put them, why you should put them there, what are the alternatives of LLS 4000. And something very new, these transcritical CO2 systems, a lot of more components, a lot of possibilities for us. System, in my view, is more complex than the standard ammonia system. Technology in CO2 system is developing very rapidly from the year to year. There are a lot of good information in our handbook. The industrial refrigeration application tool has been updated to include the most recently launched products. If you are already using the interactive tool, the updated version is now ready for download on link. File to download is about 700 megabytes after extracting and zipping 3 gigabyte. For new users, the application tool is an interactive PowerPoint slideshow that takes you through all details of two-stage ammonia plant. The tool features zoom in and expand navigation with detailed information tailor-made for you. The concept of slideshow is a complete infographics of the ammonia plant. When you click on the selected areas of the plant, you will get detailed information on specific areas. The detailed drawing show you which valves and piping are needed for the specific area. By clicking on the valve type designations, you will get detailed cutaway drawings and explanations of that specific valve. The interactive slideshow also provides you with useful links to technical literature, product animations, and videos. And it's easy to navigate back to start or the previous information. The Industrial Refrigeration Application Tool is designed in PowerPoint, enabling you to open it in edit mode. In edit mode, you have the possibility to copy the individual products slides into your own presentation. The tool is useful to anyone working with industrial refrigeration, but especially those who might be new in industrial refrigeration or might still not feel 100% familiar with the details of two-stage ammonia plant. If you are training others in industrial refrigeration, this tool might also be very good an illustrative tool for you to use in your presentations and training. And the last support tool I'd like to mention to you. 3D CAD symbols are available for free download from our website to make designing of industrial refrigeration plants easier. Where do we get it from? Again, danfoss.com, markets, refrigeration and air conditioning, industrial refrigeration, drawings. Or you can go to Fast Track, Google search. Go to browser, then write Danfoss Industrial Refrigeration Drawings. Google will suggest it, and then we can find the link to Danfoss site. You can download the whole air library. It's one zipped file about 700 megabytes. When you unzip the folder, will take about 3 gigabytes of drawings. All CAD symbols are unique for each code number, allowing you to quickly find them in our online product catalog. There are 2D and 3D drawings with STP extension. Here you can see some example drawings. There are thousands of drawings for most industrial refrigeration products in this CAD library. That's all I have prepared for you. Watch the rest of Danfoss products and solutions videos on my YouTube channel.